The world of Avatar is massive, starting as a kids show and evolving into a multimedia franchise with movies, books, comics, and even board games. There's such a huge amount of content contributing to the lore, and it would only make sense that there are quite a few avatars in the cycle who we only know about from the most obscure references and only have some small details on. So in this video, I'm going to break down every single known avatar in the Avatar universe who have been identified throughout history, and I'm going to break down all of their stories for you to enjoy. So smash that like and subscribe button, and let's get straight into it. Starting off, we of course have Avatar 1. Avatar 1, the first avatar, established the Avatar cycle by merging with Raava, the spirit of light and peace, during a pivotal conflict with the dark spirit of Vaatu. Faced with the threat of chaos and imbalance that Vaatu sought to impose on the world, one recognized that defeating Vaatu alone would not ensure lasting harmony. In his quest to restore balance, one encountered Raava and realized that a permanent bond between the human and the spirit worlds was necessary. By willingly fusing his spirit with Raava's, one gained the ability to bend all four elements, air, water, earth, and fire, and took on the responsibility of maintaining equilibrium across the four nations. This profound union not only enabled one to overcome Vaatu, but also established the Avatar cycle, ensuring that Raava's spirit would reincarnate into a new avatar after each death. Through this cycle, each successive avatar inherits the duty to bridge the human and spirit worlds, uphold peace, and address threats to balance throughout the world, thereby perpetuating the legacy of harmony that one initiated through Raava. After that is Zalia. Back before the Fire Nation was even one unified faction, during the time of the Fire Islands, there was a woman named Zalia. We don't know exactly when she lived, but we know that she looked like a fit and athletic woman who kept her hair short and wore a sleeveless tunic with a patterned skirt. Sadly, we don't know much more than this, but it's safe to assume that she was a core component of the early pre-unification bending days of the Fire Nation. Because of the time period, it's likely that she sided with the Fire Nation tribes at that time against the other nations and pretty much only served them, similar to another avatar that we'll see later on in the list. After that is Unidentified Avatar. This unidentified avatar, who was known for fighting a man named Hundun, was a mysterious and formidable figure in Avatar lore. Hundun lived hundreds of years, even into the time of Korra, where he wanted to execute her for reopening the spirit portals. Regardless, known only for injuring Hundun's brother and forcing both of them into the spirit world, this avatar's aggressive but duty-bound actions suggest immense strength and determination, but little else is known about their story. What we do know is that their encounter with Hundun led them to, many centuries later, team up with the Equalists in order to take down Avatar Korra in her spin-off video game. In this, he's portrayed as an immensely powerful avatar and airbender who is able to pull off feats that we've never really seen elsewhere ever in Avatar, such as levitating a huge arena-like island of Earth in order to fight Korra on it, or using some deeply powerful attacks. So whoever this avatar was, their attack on Hundun's brother triggered one of the craziest moments in the franchise's history, and not many people actually know about it. So if you want me to cover that, please let me know in the comments down below. After that is the Bounty Hunter avatar. Although we don't know absolutely anything about this avatar, there was an avatar who lived as a bounty hunter, most likely tracking down highly sought-after criminals such as repeat killers and bandit gangs. And this was probably their way of keeping balance in the world, despite not too much going on a global scale. After that is the Sailor Avatar. Another mysterious character. All we know about this avatar is that they were an experienced sailor, possibly meaning that they traveled the world taking on quests and keeping balance through that. Because they were a sailor, it's probably a good chance that this avatar was a native waterbender. After that, we have the Military General Avatar. Again, nothing concrete is known about this one, likely due to the history books being lost to time, but all we know for sure is that they were a very skilled and cunning military commander who served as a general in some kind of large army. We don't know which nation, where, but some kind of large army. It's possible that they worked with one of the nations to ensure effective military campaigns against their enemies. Once again, kind of towing that line of working for one nation against the others, which is not really seen as the traditional role of the avatar, but some avatars definitely did slip into this. After that is an immensely interesting one, Avatar Gun. Hailing from an unknown nation, Gun was an avatar who we were made aware of through the Young Chan memories, although she unfortunately lost most of her memories relating to this topic, containing anything concrete on this avatar. What we do know, however, is that he could actually be considered the only evil avatar to ever live. Because of what we do know about him, he became sick of having to constantly help humanity out of their struggles and began to resent them as a result, lashing out and even potentially attacking people. After that is Salai. Despite the scarcity of details about Salai's life and acts, his incredible reputation as one of the greatest avatars ever suggests that he played a pivotal role in shaping his era, leaving a profound influence on the world for years to come, so much so that people remembered him many years later, all the way during the time of Kyoshi. Following that is Seto of the Fire Nation. Seto was the Fire Nation avatar who we all remember from lifting absolutely massive amounts of lava from volcanoes in the original Avatar series, and he was born during a tumultuous era of plagues, natural natural disasters, and brutal clan conflicts. Departing from the typical role of the Avatar, he chose to serve as a junior minister in the Fire Nation's government, focusing on reform from within rather than direct intervention in the outside world. This innovative approach allowed him to implement significant changes based on merit, strengthening the government of the Fire Nation and gradually reviving their economy. As a skilled diplomat, Seto facilitated peace among noble clans within the Fire Nation, ended currency debasement which caused inflation, and established a famine relief program to aid the needy. His meticulous documentation, including the theory of grain distributions, which was a treatise that he wrote, provided guidance for future politicians in the Fire Nation all the way down to present times. Seto's pragmatic leadership earned him the title of Grand Advisor to Fire Lord Yosor, significantly influencing the nation's recovery and his place in history forever. Next up is Avatar Yang Chen from the Air Nomads, specifically the Western Air Temple. Born in the aftermath of the Platinum Affair, a period of isolationism between the four nations, following a failed attempt for the other three nations to gang up on the Earth Kingdom and destroy them, Yang Chen, an Air Nomad Avatar, quickly mastered all the elements and embraced her role with determination. An encounter with General Old Iron transformed her understanding of the political landscape, leading her to employ cunning manipulation and espionage, sometimes seen as unbefitting of an avatar in a world where loyalty was often transactional. One of her key accomplishments was bridging the divide between the wealthy and the poor in the Shang cities in the Earth Kingdom, particularly Bin-Er. Partnering with her friend Kavik, she ruined the Unanimity Project, which exploited combustion benders as dangerous weapons for rebels in the Earth Kingdom. After neutralizing this threat and apprehending Zongdu Henshi, she cleverly presented the incident as a spiritual imbalance, gaining control of the city from the Earth King and reducing corruption there. Despite her smooth-talking, pacifist roots, Yang Chen's dedication to balance and peace earned her both respect and fear among the nations. Her wisdom established her as one of the most revered avatars, ensuring a generation of peace after her death. However, her intense focus on balance contributed to increasing dark spirit activity during her successors era, bringing us to Avatar Kuruk of the Water Tribe, specifically the Northern Water Tribe. Kuruk, the Water Tribe Avatar, succeeded Yang Chen and inherited many of the issues that she left behind with the spirits. A gifted bender from the Northern Water Tribe, he dreamed of uniting the world, but he was derailed after a dark spirit caught and corrupted him. This deep spiritual corruption kept eating away at Kuruk, and he kept having to battle increasingly hostile spirits alone. Kuruk then neglected his avatar duties and turned to hedonism to cope with his affliction. Despite his decline, he heroically weakened the powerful Father Glowworm, ending a major spirit incursion, but he lost his fiancée Umi to Ko the Face Stealer. Kuruk died at 33, drained by his spiritual sickness, leaving the world in turmoil and his legacy marked by sacrifice and tragedy. His story was a heartbreaking one, but it was followed by one of the most notorious avatars of all time, Avatar Kyoshi of the Earth Kingdom. Kyoshi was a deeply wise but combat-focused avatar. Living to the age of 230, she became the oldest confirmed human and was known for her exceptional height. Born to criminal parents, she faced a difficult early life, being abandoned and surviving as a homeless orphan until being rescued by Kelsang, her surrogate father. Initially unrecognized as the Avatar, she faced turmoil when her identity was revealed, leading to the sacrifice of her friend Yun and the murder of Kelsang by Zhanzhu, the Earth Kingdom's ruler. Seeking revenge, she joined her parents' former gang, the Flying Opera Company, and formed close bonds with her criminal associates in the name of payback. Kyoshi struggled for acceptance as the Avatar while navigating the resulting chaos after Zhanzhu's death. Unlike her successors, she believed that true justice often required extreme and lethal measures. Throughout her life, she effectively maintained peace, ended wars, founded Kyoshi Island, and transformed the Earth Kingdom into a constitutional monarchy rather than an absolute monarchy that it was before. However, her actions, particularly with the creation of the controversial Dai Li organization, eventually led to long-term problems for the Earth Kingdom, and we see the result of that in Book 2 of Avatar The Last Airbender. In her later years, she deeply regretted the consequences of her varied decisions, including the decline of her homeland following her death. After that is Avatar Roku of the Fire Nation, born in the Fire Nation capital. Roku, born to a noble Fire Nation family, grew up in an era of peace fueled by the influence of the previous Avatar Kyoshi. Despite his privileged background, he struggled with family relationships, particularly with his parents, who favored his twin brother Yasu. Roku formed a deep friendship with Prince Sozin, which strengthened after Yasu's presumed drowning sometime later. At 16, he learned that he was the Avatar and began his training in the four bending arts, developing close bonds with his different teachers, striving to maintain peace among the nations out of a love for their cultures and their people. As Avatar Roku faced rising tensions and conflicts among the nations and worked diligently to promote diplomacy, things started to change with his best friend Sozin. The friendship specifically started to deteriorate when Sozin proposed expanding the Fire Nation's territory. This ultimately led to a confrontation between them, resulting in the Fire Nation's harsh desire for domination. Roku's life ended during a catastrophic volcanic eruption on his home island, where he attempted to save its inhabitants but was ultimately abandoned by Sozin at the last minute, leading to his tragic death alongside his dragon companion, Fang, while Sozin proceeded to plot against the other nations, and especially against the air nomads. After that is Avatar Aang of the air nomads, the Southern Air Temple. Aang was the last airbender and the last avatar of his era, and was born to the Southern Air Temple and was identified as being the avatar at a very young age, being 12 years old. However, he struggled with the responsibilities that came with this role, fearing the expectations placed upon him. He fled when he found out that he'd been removed from his father-like figure Gyatso. During his escape, Aang became trapped in an iceberg for 100 years. When he was freed by his siblings Katara and Sokka, he discovered that the Fire Nation had waged war against the other nations, seeking to eliminate the air nomads and claim dominance. He traveled the world, eventually learning all 4 elements, and then confronting Fire Lord Ozai as soon as the comet returned after Sozin had used it 100 years prior. He also learned how to control the Avatar state, and at the end of his journey he mastered the Avatar state and he confronted Fire Lord Ozai and finally defeated him, not by killing him, which everyone thought he had to and all the avatars told him he had to, but took away his bending learned from the lion turtles. After that is Avatar Korra from the water tribe, the Southern Water Tribe. Korra was the avatar following Aang, of course, and she displayed her bending abilities from an extremely young age, obviously minus airbending. After mastering waterbending, earthbending and firebending, Korra studied under Aang's son Tenzin to learn airbending. Throughout her journey, Korra faced numerous challenges, including her struggle to connect with her spiritual side and airbend at all at the start, and her determination to balance her duties as the Avatar with her desire for a normal life. As she confronted various antagonists, including the anti-bending Equalist led by Aman and the spirit Vatu in the Harmonic Convergence, Korra's journey highlighted themes of identity, connection, and social changes over time. She learned to embrace her vulnerabilities and relied on her friends such as Marco, Bolin, and Asami to navigate the complexities of her role. By the end of her story, Korra not only defeated Kuvira, a militaristic threat to the United Republic, but also solidified her understanding of balance, forging a new path for both the physical and spiritual worlds. However, she also destroyed the connection to the past avatars, which was seen as many fans as to be one of the worst crimes ever committed by the writers of the show. But anyway, after that we have the next avatar, which hasn't even released yet, but these avatars will be Earth Avatar twins. One will be called Nisha and one will be called Parvi. One will be light and one will be dark. And as far as we know so far, they will be splitting the elements between them. So 2 elements will go to one and 2 elements will go to the other. We're not sure which element's which and what order and like which ones will be paired with each other. What we do know is that it's going to cause a lot of controversy because in the time of Parva and Nisha, the 4 nations have been destroyed by none other than Korra herself. And to replace them has been the 9 Havens. And these are like survivors of a cataclysmic event which Korra caused, we think, trying to save the world from spirits or some major cataclysm. So really, Korra destroyed the Avatar line and Korra destroyed the world and the 4 nations. So she hasn't really had very much of an easy life as an Avatar. So I hope we get more context on that in the next show. And that is every single Avatar in the Avatar universe. Let me know if you enjoyed. There's going to be plenty more content like this. If you want to know more about those Avatar twins, check out my last video, which will be linked in the description down below. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far, drop a thank Mr. Zuko in the comments down below.